In this video, I'm going to describe how to complete the Commuting and Homeworking Questionnaire. You will have received an email providing a link to a web page with the questionnaire, which contains 4 main questions, although occasionally 5. It will also contain links to 2 different videos, including this one. The questionnaire is designed to collect information about how you travelled to work during a previous time period, usually the previous financial year. So the questions are asking about what you did in the past, not what you do now or expect to do in the future. Question 1. Typically, how do you travel to work? This question has 2 options. Most people have one main type of transport to get to work, even though they may use other types of transport from time to time. If this is the case for you, select the option one main type of transport to work. However, some people have journey types that are equally likely, perhaps dependent on the season. For example, by car in winter and by motorbike in the summer. If your journey to work fits this pattern, then select 2 alternative types of transport to work. To begin with, I will select the first option, one main type of transport to work. This opens a list of travel options, 2 of which are worth special note. The first is car sharing. This is where a group of people take turns to drive each other to work in their own cars. For example, John, Amanda and Phil agree to form a car share. They agree to drive each other to work in rotation. John first, then Amanda and then Phil, and then back to John again, and so forth. So throughout the year, they each have taken turns using their own vehicle to drive each other to work. Selecting car sharing opens a secondary list, number of people in the vehicle, including the driver. In the example above, you would select 3, which includes the driver. If the group includes any non-drivers, they must not be included in the count. Only drivers are to be included. If you are a non-driver in a car share, then you would select lift in. Similarly, if you regularly get a lift from a friend or colleague, you would also select lift in. We will now look at an example where you have 2 different methods of getting to work. I will select 2 alternate types of transport to work. Selecting this option opens up 2 lists, allowing you to select a different transport type in each. I am going to select petrol car in the first list, perhaps my winter choice, and then motorbike in the second, my choice in summer. This brings us to question 2. In miles, how far was your travel, one way, from your home residence to the offices? Please note, we are only asking you to enter the distance one way, not the return distance. If you need help in working out the distance, particularly where public transport is involved, watch our other video, How to Find Your Distance to Work. I'm going to enter 19 miles. Next is question 3. How many times per week, on average, did you commute to the offices? We're looking for this average over the period, usually a year. In reality, it could be more one week and fewer the next, but we're looking for the average. I'm going to enter an average of 3 days a week. Question 4 asks, do you regularly work from home? If you don't work from home or only occasionally, click No, then click the Submit button. In this case, I'm going to click Yes. This brings up question 5. Question 5. On average, how many days a week do you work from home? Again, we're looking for the average across the period. The default is 1, but I'm going to enter 2. Working from home results in additional use of electricity to power your computer and ancillaries, lighting and things like making the occasional cup of tea or coffee. Working from home also might mean that you need to turn on the heating when the weather gets cold. We therefore have a supplementary question. When working from home, I turned on the heating when the weather was cold, or I didn't need to adjust the heating. We expect most people will select I turned on the heating when the weather was cold. You would select I don't need to adjust the heating if the heating was on anyway. This would be the case if family members were normally at home during the day and would have the heating turned on during cold weather whether you were there or not. I'm going to select I turned on the heating when the weather was cold. I then click the Submit button, which takes us to the results page. Here you can see that commuting resulted in 1,150 kilograms of CO2 equivalent per year over a metric ton. Emissions from home working resulted in 390 kilograms of CO2 equivalent per year, the bulk of which is related to turning on the heating when the weather was cold. That's all, and thank you for watching.